believe that if we follow the Son of Righteousness, who we know is Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, he will lead us into the pathway of health. And you know, I love to cook, but I hate to cook alone. And I have a friend with me, and many of you know her, Paula Akins, and I'm going to invite Miss Paula to come up. Hey, Lynn, how you doing?
Fine.
Oh, that's good, that's good.
Now,
We're going to have fun today.
All right, now I heard that you were going to be doing a quiche.
Can you believe this?
Now,
No cheese.
now, Linda, you know quiches have at least 5 different cheeses
I
in it.
know, but we're gonna make a new deal here. Start a new tradition. We're gonna use rice cheese, rice cheddar type cheese, and rice mozzarella cheese, and no eggs.
Okay.
Can you believe this? You're gonna fall out.
I gotta see
You're
this.
gonna fall out, but no eggs.
No eggs.
No eggs.
So that means it's cholesterol free.
Cholesterol free.
I think our viewing audience will like this one. I am ready to get started. I can't believe
Okay, let's
it.
get started. We'll put our nice little recipe on the screen.
All right.
We use 2 boxes of tofu extra firm, half a cup of onions chopped, half a bag of frozen spinach, and we're going to chop that too. 1 package of rice cheese shredded, 1/4 cup of chicken style seasoning, 1 to 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, 1 to 2 tablespoons of onion powder, 1 heaping teaspoon of instant clear, enough water to blend, and 1 package of tofu pepperoni, which is optional, and pie crust.
Wow. Okay, Linda.
Okay, so you don't believe we can do this, do you?
You know, I'm just ready.
We're gonna do
I'm
it.
sure the viewing audience they really want to see this one.
They're gonna want to see it.
So let me see. We're going to do what? We're going to blend that up first?
We're gonna blend it up first.
We should stop and stir it a little bit there.
I think we should.
Okay. It's getting nice and soft.
That's the whole beauty of it, because this is gonna make your egg base.
Okay.
And so just continue to blend it till it's a little smoother. Okay.
All right.
Now we're gonna create our eggs.
Okay,
This is
okay.
how we create eggs. We put the chicken style seasoning in it, and you notice it's yellow, and so when you do your quiche and you put this in there, that's what's gonna give it that egg look because of the color. Now, most of the times, things like turmeric are used to color, so this is quite natural. And why don't we go ahead and put some of the other ingredients too? That'll be
What else are you going to put in here?
We're going to put in our onion powder and our garlic powder. And you know how I cook, dear.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I could put this away.
You can put that away.
I'll put that over
I'm a
here.
toss cook.
Okay.
We already got how much you need. Now
Okay.
we're going to just sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. See, I have an eye for this. 1 tablespoon.
I like that.
2 tablespoons.
tablespoons,
There we
okay.
go. There we go. Now let's do it again.
And this is the onion powder?
Yes.
Okay.
1 tablespoon. Check that out.
I like that. I like
Perfect estimate.
that. That's right.
2 tablespoons.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's go back and blend that in some more.
All right. Go ahead and start it.
Go ahead and
Okay.
start that.
Let's do that one more time. Get the rest of all that seasoning.
Yeah,
in there.
because we
It's
want
turning yellow.
Yes, turning yellow. We
All
want the
right,
color.
all right. Oh, it smells good. We haven't even cooked it
It's
yet.
gonna taste even better. Wait till you see the finished product.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. So now we have eggs, okay?
We have the eggs.
We have the eggs. Now, the next thing we need to do is go ahead and,
Just comb that off of there.
yeah.
Just a little bit of the goodies.
I have a little trash can up,
Oh,
so
okay,
just kind of
okay.
dump that there. Okay. So we have the egg base, and we have our pie crust here.
Okay.
Okay. Let's slide that back just a little bit.
All right.
Now, this is made with tofu. And as you know, we talked about tofu before on another program, how good it is for you.
I think it's really neat how tofu can 1 minute be a dessert and the next minute we can turn it into something like this for this quiche. I like that. Why don't you turn that around a little bit that way, and so the audience can see the goodies coming out of there.
Coming out of the bowl.
All right.
There we go.
And I tell you what, I'm going to get the blender out the way, and that way you can get a real clear picture of what's going on.
Now, actually, you can use a little bit more of the tofu to fill this crust up, but for today's example, we're just using just a smaller amount here. Because this will make enough to fill 2 pies.
I love it.
And we're just going to stir that around
Okay.
and fill that up.
Away. Are we finished with this?
Finish with that.
Okay.
Now, next thing we want to do is add our cheese. And as you see here, we have 2 types. We have the rice cheese in mozzarella and the rice cheese in cheddar style.
Now, what I like about this, Linda, look, now we have the orange color for the cheddar, right? And then we have that white kind of like mozzarella or type cheese.
Right.
And it looks just like the
real
real thing. But
thing.
you know what? It really is real, you know.
It is. It's all natural.
It's real food.
It's real food. Real whole goodness food.
Whole good food. Okay. And that's going to melt up when we put it in the oven?
It melts up perfectly.
All right.
It melts up perfectly. So we go ahead and we get our cheese in there. And you can do it any kind of way you want. Sometimes you might want to put a layer of cheese at the bottom first, or put the tofu in the middle and then layer it any way you like. But like I said, I'm the toss cook now, so I toss it all in here. It's going to look real good when we finish with it. Okay, so
I see you got a lot of other interesting things that's going to go in this quiche, so it's not going to just be one with just the cheeses only.
no, it's not.
Okay.
What we've got here, I brought some broccoli, and I'll just cut a little bit of that. Now, I didn't put broccoli in the recipe, but I want you all to know that quiche can be anything you want it to be. It doesn't have to be just spinach. It can be a little broccoli. It could be spinach, as we already mentioned. You can put asparagus in it, anything you like to put. It doesn't take a whole lot. Just use your imagination.
So you're looking for color, more color here.
That's right.
So I imagine,
I'm
how
just gonna
about
do a little
that zucchini, the green zucchini? Slice it very thin, I guess, and you can put that in there as well.
Right, you can. Red peppers. Oh,
yeah,
red peppers
okay.
make a good addition to quiche. And here we have our spinach, and I took the spinach and some onions and kind of chopped them up all
It's
together.
coming alive. It looks very pretty.
See, we've got all our colors in here. We've got our vegetables.
All right.
Okay,
all
we
right.
just keep.
And you know what I'm thinking about, Linda?
What do you think?
I see something here.
Uh-oh, what do you see?
Now, wait a minute now, Linda. Now, Linda. Now, Linda, you said there was no meat in this.
That's no meat.
Now, Linda, what am I holding in my hand?
You are holding pepperoni, dear.
This is pepperoni.
That's pepperoni.
And this is a vegetarian pepperoni.
Vegetarian pepperoni.
Okay. All right, now.
Get out of here. Say that. Say, get out of
I'm
here.
through with you. I'm through. Okay, now, what's going to happen with that?
We're going to chop it up. Why don't you do that while I'm continuing to push this around
I'd be
here?
happy to.
Here's a knife.
All of them?
All of them.
Okay.
This is so good. And see, kids.
It smells like pepperoni.
It smells like pepperoni. See, children like things like this. You want to get your children to eat their vegetables, you got to entice them to eat. So I put little extras in my food like this that my kids love. And what it is, it's made out of tofu.
I should have known.
You should have known.
I should have known. Okay, now I'm going to tell you right now, talking about kids, I know that Curtis would love this.
Oh, yes. See, he was in the kitchen and stuff while we was putting together our display.
So he probably had some of this already.
I saw him looking at a piece of pepperoni pretty good. It's like, give me my pepperoni type thing. I hid the demo too.
You hid it. Oh, I'm glad you did.
I
Although
don't
you
know.
hid it, I hope he didn't know, or he might have been following you to find out where you had put that.
I hope not, because
Yeah.
if he did, we're in trouble. We won't have anything put up at the end of the
Now-
program.
now
Now
what we're
let's
gonna
put
do-
that in here. Okay.
Just kind of.
Yep, kind of put it in there, kind of play with it a little bit. See, this is fun
This
food.
feels like this is incredible. Okay, I'm going to have to get this together and put it on top of a pizza or something.
Yes, yes. I use a pizza. You can use it for sandwiches.
You don't mind, do you? I really have to.
Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
Oh, Linda.
Nice and spicy. It's got all the flavor, all the consistency. This is really Mediterranean
really
type.
nice,
And
really
it
nice.
smells so good.
It does, it
smells
does.
absolutely wonderful. Where is Curtis anyway?
I don't know. He might be out there. You know what? I think we better be careful because he might be out there messing with the other one you made earlier.
Okay.
All right. Is that one ready to go then?
That
in
one
the
is
oven?
ready to go.
And what's our temperature again for that?
350. And you just
Okay.
cook it till it's brown and the cheese melt and it cooks up really nicely.
I can't wait to see
You're
what this
just
is
gonna
going to look
love
like
it.
when we get done. It's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be
Okay.
absolutely beautiful. Now, you know what? Along with a quiche, you might want to have some other type of foods in your diet. And I think that quiche goes really, really good with soup.
Oh, yes.
I think it goes really good with soup.
Yes. Okay.
And you know the
Let me just move that out your way. And we'll bring our next tray, which has got soup.
yes, it's
All
got
the soup
soup.
ingredients on. Okay.
Yes, it does. Okay, we're going to make a potato soup for you today. And the ingredients are 3 to 4 large potatoes chopped, half an onion chopped, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 3 tablespoons of chicken-style seasoning, and 3½ cups of water. Now, Paula, on a nice cold day, and you have a nice pot of soup and a nice slice of quiche, you got something going on.
You're ready.
You're ready.
And you know, that quiche can be what? I guess you can do breakfast, and you can use it for lunch, and also with the soup.
That's right, you can.
Okay, all
So what
right.
we've got here, this is so quick to make. People think sometimes to cook healthy takes a long time. But if you notice here, we have our potatoes. These are regular bacon potatoes. We cut them up and left the skin on them. And I want you to note that because a lot of the nutrients are in the skin of the potato. And so when you throw away the skin, you're throwing away some of the nutrition. We don't want to do that. We cut them up nice and fine. And already here we have about our 3½ cups of water.
Okay.
And so what we're going to do, we're going to put it there in our skillet. We're just going to add this there.
Okay.
And this is really, really quick to make. You want to go ahead and help me pour that in a little bit? I don't want to make a mess.
Sure. All right. And you know, people ask that question all the time. They'll ask me things like, well, why is that skin on? Isn't that going to be pesticides and stuff in it? So we use
Scrub
that
and
vegetable
wash.
brush, Jim.
Yes,
We
we
scrubbed
do.
it down and use that vegetable brush to wash it out.
And you use vegetable scrubbing material plus
That's right.
it's the little detergent that I use at home, but it's designed to wash vegetables. That's all it is. It's a vegetable
So
wash.
the skin and all.
Skin and all, because
All
that's where
right.
you're going to get your nutrients.
Now, is there any other thing
Now
that
we
go in
stir
this?
that up, and now we're going to
Okay,
put our
so
onions
okay.
in.
All right.
Okay. Let's see if we can kind of spoon them out here a little bit more. We got them chopped really fine. Onions are excellent for flavor.
Yes.
You have an exquisite taste when you use them. Another thing you can add to this is your garlic. You know, garlic is excellent.
We love garlic and onions.
And onions. And it smells so good when
It's
it's
smelling
cooking.
good once again. We'll just fan a little bit so the camera crew starts smelling what's going on here. In
I
this
want all the onions.
potato.
I am
So
an
get
onion person.
Everything in there.
Everything.
All right.
Okay. We got our onions.
All right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now the next thing we want to do, we're going to add our chicken style seasening.
Okay. And you just
And
kind of
folks
throw it
say,
on in.
why do you use so much chicken style seasoning? Because it's got taste.
That's right.
It really does. It has taste.
Yeah.
And you can use beef style seasoning too, but I prefer to use a chicken style seasoning. It just tastes better to me. Okay, so you add that.
All right. And are we going to put in
Oh, we're going to do my toss cooking. Yes,
All right,
we
let's
are.
do that toss cooking
Toss
then.
cooking. 1 tablespoon. All right. 2 tablespoons.
Okay.
All right, that's our garlic powder.
That's garlic.
Okay. Now here we go again. 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons.
Okay.
All right.
Stir it on up.
So you get to cooking a while. You get to knowing how these things
Oh,
look.
yes, honey.
Yeah.
A little bit of this and a little bit of
Little bit
that.
of
My
this, a
grandma
little
used to
bit
say, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And it
And
was kind of
they
hard to
have-
get those recipes together when you're trying to figure out exactly how do they put things together. They say a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
But you got to learn how to cook this way because that's where the flavor comes from. It's okay to go by the book, but when you put your own pizzazz in it, that's when things really get good. Okay, so
Is that
why
it
don't
for
we
that?
just, let's
Put the lid on. That
put the
looks
lid
good.
on. and we're
Smells
gonna go.
good. Can't wait to see when this is
Now,
finished.
what happens is the potatoes are going to begin to melt down, and they're going to take on the consistency of soup, and then it's ready to eat.
Okay.
Isn't that great? It's so great.
Well, what are we going to do next? This is
Okay.
getting more and more exciting by the
Yes, it
moment. I'm just
is.
going to wipe this off a little bit here. And I'll take this away. And what's our next recipe?
You know, before we go to our next recipe, I'd like to put up the graphic that we have on foods that prevent cancer, cancer blockers. And the reason why I think this is so important is because these foods that we're preparing today are cancer blockers. All these natural foods are good bodybuilding material. So let's take a look at these things. Cancer blockers: asparagus, broccoli, which we had in our recipe today, and we'll be having more: cabbage, cauliflower, carrots, oranges, leaf lettuce, tofu, peas, sweet potatoes, white squash, and turnips. Isn't that interesting? All of these wonderful, fantastic foods that we can use.
All the
to help
foods
our
that I love, Linda. I love.
come straight from God's garden.
Hey.
You know the Bible tells us that he planted the first garden. God sat down there.
He sure did.
He sure did.
He sure did.
So let's do a salad, coming straight from God's garden.
All right, all right. Okay, I said I'm gonna like this already, Linda.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You want to, what's our ingredients on this particular salad?
Our salad is 1 bunch of raw broccoli, finely chopped, a half a red onion chopped, 2 tomatoes chopped, and 1/2 package of sprouts.
All right. All right, now those
We
are
need our
those
knife.
alfalfa sprouts?
Yes, they are.
All right. Well, you know what Curtis always says about the alfalfa sprouts? He said the alfalfa is one of those herbs and we can use for food. Its roots go all the way down into
Yes,
the
they
earth, and
do.
so it has lots of vitamins and minerals in it.
It's great. It's
Okay,
great.
now.
All right, so let's start cutting up our broccoli. We're going to just take a little bit. I like to use as much of the broccoli as I possibly can get in there. And I find out the
Need a
finer
better
you...
knife, you think?
Yeah, let's see. I'll continue while you do that.
Okay.
I think that the finer you cut it, the easier it is to chew and the better it probably is for your digestion, because especially if you're feeding a salad like this to children, you know, kids,
Wanna try that
they
one?
swallow their food.
They do.
You know
They
that?
do.
My
so
baby
that
swallows
fineness is
it.
going to be a lot better.
It helps them a lot. And then plus it looks better. You know, I like some things chunky. Like if you're going to make a tomato sauce for spaghetti, that needs to be chunky. But when you make a salad like this, with all of our nice cancer blocking agents in it, you want to keep it nice and fine so it's easily digested. It's going to look better, you know, in terms of presentation. And remember we talked last time about presentation, that everything needs to be colorful.
Eat with our eyes.
We eat with our eyes.
And that was our Tex mix.
Tex-Mex. Yeah, so let's just keep cutting this down. You notice how much a little bit of broccoli makes?
I'm surprised. Look at all that. That's almost about, it's going to be about almost 2 cups by the time you get done.
By the time you get done.
Okay. And what are you doing with your other portion of that?
Well, I'm going to put it in here. See,
Okay.
that's the thing. If you cut it up fine enough, you can
Okay.
afford to leave it in here.
Okay.
Now, we won't go all the way down to the stem because
Okay.
that'll get a little bit tough.
Okay.
But raw foods have benefits.
Of course.
You know, salads are excellent, and it's good if you can get a salad in once or twice a day. It's an excellent way to get your 5 vegetables in.
It is. It is.
5 fruits and vegetables, rather. What we try to aim for 3 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so far already, we're past our requirement because we've got the spinach in the quiche. We put some broccoli in the quiche, did we not? Now we got our broccoli. We have our potatoes, all these good, wonderful, God-given foods. We've got sprouts. And you know, sprouts are even more powerful. They have now broccoli sprouts out. And
I have
you know,
seen them.
and you know,
Yeah.
people are talking about those, and the reason why they're talking about them is because they say that they have more cancer-fighting potential than even the broccoli that we're using here, the sprouts, because they're young and they've got more than nutrients, nutrient dense, I'll call it.
I started sprouting. Matter of fact, Linda, I bought a sprout machine.
Oh my goodness.
I can't believe it. I went and bought a sprout machine. Now, I've been putting mung beans in there and soybeans and sprouting those and to put on our salads. All right, that looks good.
That looks good.
Okay.
Now remember, we're painting our plate.
Painting the plate.
We're painting the plate. So the first color we're going to put down here is the green. You want to help me scoop some of that up? We can just scoop it up. Because we're painting. So we're painting a picture. So let's
We're gonna paint
angle
on
it.
one side, huh?
We're going to paint on one side because
Okay.
we're going to put something else on the other side.
Okay.
And this broccoli is so good, we don't want to waste any of
Don't
it.
waste nothing. Don't waste
So
nothing.
we're going to scrape
Okay.
all that off of that board there. And we're just going to put all the broccoli there.
Okay.
Okay, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to add our red onions. These things are powerful and they taste wonderful. Just sprinkle a little of the red onions there. Now, isn't that looking? We got our
Really
color.
nice. That looks nice. That
Color's
looks
coming
nice.
out.
Okay. Are we going
Now-
to use a cutting board anymore?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. We'll move it out the way.
Right out the way.
Okay.
Next thing we want to do is put out beautiful red tomatoes. Tomatoes
Turn back that
high.
way so the camera can see. That's
Yeah, let's
really
do that.
pretty.
High in vitamin C, antioxidant properties.
All right.
Look at that. Isn't that great?
All right. That's beautiful.
We're still painting
Okay,
now.
we're
We
still
got one
painting.
more color.
Okay.
We're going to put our sprouts on here.
All right.
Look at that. Think you would eat this for dinner?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
I would eat it for dinner. Love to eat it for dinner. Okay, now, remember our soup that we told you that was going to look really good once we got finished with it? Now, we're painting our plate. We've got the colors around here. We've got our black plate here. Now, let's just reach under here. Where did we put our soup?
All right. We just
Mm-hmm.
How about
Got it
that?
already
How about
made. Now
that?
look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? That is just flat out gorgeous.
Flat out.
Flat out.
Is that a Texas term?
Texas term.
Flat out. I like that. I like that.
Yes. Okay.
Now, do we have...
Now,
Got this ready.
got that ready.
The quiche is cooking.
It's cooking.
So now...
We need dessert. Don't we need
yes,
dessert?
we gotta have a dessert.
Gotta have a
I'll
dessert.
take this back,
Okay.
and I'll make sure the curse is not back there messing with the other stuff. And
I
I'll bring
heard
the
he's
stuff.
into this fruit thing. I saw him on one of your programs trying to eat your bananas.
Oh.
I sure did. And I said, now, Curtis, I know better
Well,
than
you
that.
know, let's look at the recipe. How about that?
Okay, for our
Okay.
recipe, we're making sorbet. We have 1 can of frozen pineapples.
Linda, let me just get that pint, that there.
Okay.
Okay.
We have 6 to 8 strawberries frozen, and we have 1 cup of pineapple juice. Now, in order to make this, I need my Vitamix machine down there.
Alrighty.
Okay. Here's mine.
Okay.
Now, sorbet is like an ice cream, but it's more like a sherbet. If we need some more cord, I can let a
Okay,
little
tell you
bit
what, let me
loosen.
just do this. Let's lift this up. Oh, we're fine. We're
We're
fine. We're fine.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And what I like about foods like this is that they are nice. You know, I forgot my chopper, the little thing that I put.
Now, what can we use for that? You want a spoon?
Yeah, let's try a spoon. Okay, we're just going to put a can of frozen pineapples in here. And we're going to put some strawberries. 6 to 8 is normally pretty good, but I would just go ahead and just kind of spoon those in. All right. And then we're going to add some pineapple juice.
How about if I sit this right down here?
Okay.
That's gonna be.
Yeah, that'll be
Okay.
fine. Let's see, that's a little stiff. I
I
need
tell you
a,
what. Is that the little tab on it?
yeah,
right
that's
there?
a little tab.
So much
There
for
we
the
go.
nails, huh?
All right. There we go.
Okay.
Now you just need just enough pineapple juice to kind of blend it. All right, now if we need, like I said, this is going to come out like a sherbet. If we need some more, we'll just go ahead and do that. And I'm going to put the top on here
No, move
first.
that back up there then so they can really see that, huh?
Okay, yeah.
And sit it on there.
Now this thing is really loud, so people might have to cover their ears.
Turn the TV down, huh?
Yeah. Let's see if we can get that top on there tight. I don't want the top to come off while we're in the process of
And that's
blending this.
frozen. That's
Frozen. It has to be frozen.
Pineapple.
If it's not frozen and extremely solid, it's not going to work.
Okay.
So we need it frozen really, really solid here. Okay. And let me see. Get that little spoon over there just in case we need to, you know, right over there on that tray. Just in case we need to push it down a little bit.
This
A
spoon
larger
here?
spoon. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that we had on the soup tray.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Just
one.
wipe that off then.
Yeah, just wipe that off.
You don't want a soupy,
No.
a soup tasting sorbet, huh?
Okay, get ready to cover your ears.
Okay. Here you go.
Okay. If we need it, we'll have it.
Okay.
We need it because we want to make sure that the pineapples go down like they should, and the strawberries do too. So we're just going to punch that just a little bit. It gets there. It takes a little bit, but they will eventually just continue to blend down.
Okay.
Now you see how that works? It's very good. It's blended up. Now see, it looks like, let me take the top off so you can see that it looks like sherbet. This is very, and you notice here, nothing added that's like sugar.
All natural.
All natural. You might have to help me hold that there and pull this lid off. There we go.
Okay.
Now, this is sorbet, strawberry sorbet, and we're just going to put it in our glass. It smells good, too, because you can smell that pineapple, and this is, I mean, kids will love this.
I think grown-ups too.
Yeah.
Are we gonna have enough for 2 glasses so we can have
Yes,
some?
ma'am, of course so. I
Okay.
wouldn't leave out my friend. It's terrible to cook in the kitchen and leave your friend out.
Right.
Okay. Look at that.
That is beautiful.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty?
All right.
And if we can get some more out of there a little bit later, and
Okay,
maybe,
and then we can fill it up so when the show comes back, they can see it all.
yeah, they can see it
And then,
all.
of course, they don't know, but we plan to try this out, are we
Of
not?
course we are. What cook that tastes her food?
Gotta taste the food. Gotta taste the food.
Yes. And you know what, Paula? I know a lot of people might like to get some of these recipes, so in just a moment, we're going to, you can set that over there for me, we're going to tell them where they can write in for the fact
That's
sheet.
a good idea.
I think that's an excellent idea. They can write in for the fact sheet and get all the information that they need on the program.
If you've enjoyed the recipes and cooking tips in this program, you'll want to order our Food for Thought resource sheet. We'll tell you how you can order the cookbooks you've seen used on this program, along with other information that will help you cook healthful, attractive vegetarian meals. For your free copy of our Food for Thought resource sheet, please write to us at Food for Thought, P.O. Box 220, West Frankfort, Illinois 62896, or call 618-627-4651.
Paula, I told you we were going to have fun.
This was wonderful, Linda, just wonderful.
I know,
So-
it looks so good, doesn't it? Nice and colorful. We've colored our plate. We have our non-dairy quiche without cheese. It's not real cheese, rice cheese. Looks like the real thing, tastes like it, but it's much better for you. We have our wonderful potato soup, and then we have our broccoli salad with sprouts. And then guess what? Can't miss dessert, can we?
Got that soy bag.
Got our sorbet.
And
What do
I
you
got
think
my
about this?
spoon.
You got your
I got
spoon?
my spoon.
Are we going to actually taste this in front of
I
everybody?
think we should
I
taste
think
it in
we
front
ought
of
to do
it.
it.
As a matter of fact, I think they should get those recipes. That's in your book, right?
Yeah.
They ought to get those recipes, and
They
let's see,
should.
let me just see.
Non-fattening, Paula. Eat as much of it as you want. Oh, I love it.
Now, Linda,
This is too good.
this is real good. I think we ought to have some more.
Yes, let's do that. Maple syrup, some type of rice milk. You can use soy milk. I think that's what I have today. Or juice, anything that it takes to blend it. And you're just going to grind it up until it becomes one. But what makes it taste like ice cream is because the products that we're using, which are very simple, our bananas.
I was trying to get a spoon.
I'm getting a spoon.
Okay.
You know, where's my little pusher? Do we have that up here on the set? Did we?
Now, where do we? Oh, yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Good. That's great. That'll
All
be.
right,
That's what we
okay.
need. Now,
The pusher.
this is a pusher. It's well, they call it a plunger actually,
Okay.
but what it is, it's a safeguard to keep you from eating up your spoons in your blenders or your mixer. So you just slide it down, and this caps it off, so it can only go so far.
Now, that's nice because I have a blender and it doesn't have one of these. I wonder if I could get one of these for just the blender I have, because a lot of times you don't want to stick the
No, you don't.
knife and stuff down in there. So this kind of keeps it doesn't go down to the blade then.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
Stop. Now you know I have great experience with this.
Okay.
I hit this thing on a blade one time, and it tore up my unit.
Oh.
So I was quick to make sure that the next time, next time I did that. Okay, these ingredients, as I say, are very, very simple. And this is quick. And I want to put a little tip in there for some of you people who might want to make ice cream and still like that really smooth taste. If this is not smooth enough for you, just take maybe about a cap full of canola oil. And I don't like to use oil, no free oils, but for those who are just in transition,
Yes.
use about a cap full of canola oil and put it in here, and it will give this banana and strawberry that smooth taste that you're accustomed to with ice cream. How about that?
That sounds good. Sounds
Okay.
good. Okay.
So let's get started.
It's all
Paula.
plugged in.
It's all plugged in.
You want to put that on,
Yeah.
set it back on here right now, or just wait till you
Yeah,
get those
let's see
things
if we
in?
can take, I'm going to try to do 2 bananas at a time.
Those bananas are rock hard.
Yeah, they're rock hard. So this might take a little while. We put these in the deep freezer last night.
Okay, now
Well,
you got, what's the milk you're using?
hold on, let me shake
soy
it up
milk?
first. This is soy milk. I can use rice milk or any kind of non-dairy milk, but I
Okay.
choose to use today West soy. And we
Okay.
know this is in the soybean family,
So,
and we
okay.
know how healthy and good for you this particular brand is, or not just West soy, but any type of soy milk.
Okay.
And you can also get powdered soy milk. Get powdered.
All right. Okay.
Okay, we're going to pour just start off with a little bit, because you don't want this to come out to be a milkshake. And if you put too much liquid in, it will become a milkshake. So we're going to try to avoid that. Let's get our lid done. We know sometimes we need help with this lid because
Okay, I'll hold this.
he's pretty tough.
Okay.
He doesn't always like to go in place.
It has a
Oh, look
popping
at that.
sound.
Did you
it does.
see that? It went in place. Now,
That was great.
all
That
this
was
time
great.
we've been doing these programs, we've had problems with Mr. Lid, but good
Mr.
boy.
Lid.
All right, are we ready?
I think so.
I'll give you the arm.
Okay.
Turn, hit the switch.
I can see.
Yep. It's the bananas hardcore today.
All right.
All right, go ahead, try it
Oh,
again.
here we go.
Now we're going to turn it off right about there.
All right.
We're going to add some strawberries and see if we can fill
Frozen
the
strawberries. Now,
frozen
these strawberries have no sugar on them.
No
They're frozen
sugar.
strawberries.
They're just frozen
And so you can
strawberries.
also then take strawberries like, you know, in the summertime or whatever, and then just freeze them straight from.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
and that's
and
what I do. Just freeze them
Great,
straight.
great, okay.
And I mean, this is so simple. This is child friendly. Your children can make this.
Child-friendly.
Child friendly.
And husband friendly?
Husband friendly.
Husband friendly.
Speaking of husbands, where's Curtis today?
I have no idea where Curtis is. I have a feeling that he's somewhere probably messing around with something
Well,
in
you
the
know,
kitchen.
you tell him that I have very much appreciate letting you be on loan for me today.
Well, I will certainly tell
Okay,
him.
I just have a little bit more
Okay.
of the rice milk. See, can we blend it down? Now we're gonna-
Okay.
Let's put the top on first and
top
see if it'll
first.
do it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it.
Try it
Here we
again.
go.
You can leave it on.
Okay.
And I'll just go ahead and push
All right.
it. Okay. Now we're almost at ice cream. It's looking like ice cream.
All right.
But we want to sweeten it up just a little bit
maple
because
syrup.
we know that ice cream is sweet. And you know, that's another thing, Paul, I'd like to point out. When we begin to do these type of foods, and you want to transitionalize your family from eating non-healthy to healthy,
Yeah.
the worst thing that you can do is to create something that doesn't taste at least similar to what they're
That's
accustomed
right.
to.
That's right.
You want to make it consistent with what they're accustomed to. And so these are the tricks of the trade.
Now that's
So-
that's a pure. I see a pure maple.
Pure maple
That's not
syrup.
the syrup that we use. People use to put on their pancakes. Now
No,
this
it's
is a
not.
nice pure
This is
maple.
Pure maple syrup.
Pure maple syrup,
Grade
okay.
A.
All
And
right.
it's really good. Really
Okay.
good. So we're going to just drop a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little.
Just
Not
a
a whole lot.
little.
Just a little. And we're going to pour some vanilla.
And you know, all ice creams have some vanilla. in
Yes,
it.
they do.
Okay.
But you know what this ice cream doesn't have?
What?
All the preservatives,
That's right.
all the fat,
That's right.
all of the terrible stuff that makes people gain weight.
So you kind of make this up, and you can eat it straight from actually
Yes,
when we
you
put
can.
it, fix it this way, or we can freeze it.
Yes.
And then like when you bring it back down, because it doesn't have all that fat in it, so it's gonna have to sit a little bit, right? So it can kind of thaw out and not be so rock hard.
But this right here, if you take it straight out of this is the blessing about when you blend it already frozen. It's already got the texture like soft syrup.
Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
So let's hit it one more
All
time.
right. I'll put a little top on.
Oh, okay. Don't want to have an extra.
Here we go. Okay.
That's good. I think that'll do it.
Excellent. Excellent.
Look at that.
Yes. Yes.
Now, you can't tell me that that does not look like strawberry ice cream. That looks like any strawberry ice cream you get. Help me out.
Hold that.
Hold that. Let's pop it
All
off.
right.
Now, of course, we could have made this, you know, more and more of it, but for time's sake, we'll just start off with this. We'll keep our other fruits and everything later on.
Okay.
But this looks like strawberry ice cream, tastes like strawberry ice cream, and wait, first
like
before I
that.
put it in the
I
glass,
really
I want you to see it. If they
That
can get a
consistency
shot,
is
just to see.
beautiful. Beautiful.
Wait just a minute. Pull a little bit of this out. If they can pick that up on the camera, is that possible? Look at that.
Wow. Yes,
just
indeed.
like
Yes,
soft
indeed.
serve.
All right. All right.
And that's what we want. This would be good for any child's birthday party. This is good for any adult who's on having a fit that they want some ice cream.
I love ice cream. And one of the things that I've had to learn how to do is to work with that tofu and your different soy milks and frozen strawberries and blueberries to make some real nice treats out
Yeah,
of it.
because it doesn't have to stop with strawberries. You can do peaches.
That's right.
You can do peaches.
Blueberries?
Blueberries. Oh, blueberries are excellent done this way. And also, what else? Raspberries. It's whatever you want.
Do you need me to get a spatula, I guess, to pull out the rest of that in that glass
Yeah, I
there?
think so.
Okay.
We'll do that. think we can do that. That was a little
See if we
special.
can-
I'll hold it and you see if you can.
And we do it out of
Yeah,
there. It's
you can
kind of
scoop it
locked up inside of here. All right. All right, here we go.
Just come. We don't want to waste any of this, do we?
No. I have a feeling also that when we give this to my husband Curtis, he's going to probably go up there anyway and tear this top off. I know he always says, "Why do you talk about me all the time?" But you know, he really likes to eat,
But you know what else?
and this is good for him.
The Bible talks about how we should honor our husbands, and that's just one way. When you lift them up and you talk kind words to them, you lift them up. And, you know, I have a wonderful husband at home. I wouldn't trade him for the world, and I couldn't do half of what I'm doing today if it wasn't for him. I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for him.
And that's wonderful.
I wouldn't be here because he's
Now,
taking care of the kids for me.
Is that
This
about
is
ready?
done. This is ready.
How about putting a frozen strawberry on top of that? You think? What
I
you
didn't
think?
think about that,
Yes,
but that would be
go on,
incredible.
child.
Look at that,
All right,
Isn't that
right in
pretty?
the center.
right in the center.
That looks good. That looks good.
Now, see if we had a little bit of our tofu whipped cream left, which we didn't think of. We could have layered just the
Yes, we
top of
could.
that and made it
That
look
would've
like
been
whipped
very
cream.
nice,
That would
very,
be
very
very
nice.
colorful, very appetizing.
Oh, this is gorgeous. I
Yes.
can't wait to see now. Well, this is, ooh, it's nice and cold, too. So then we're going to go to our next recipe then?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
I'm going to go to our next recipe, which we have now is the carrot almond cheesecake. Carrot almond cheesecake. Our directions are 2 boxes of Marinu tofu, extra firm, 5 tablespoons of carrot powder, 2 packages of vanilla pudding mate, 3 tablespoons of almond flavoring, 1 tablespoon of vanilla flavoring, raspberry all fruit for garnish, and 1 graham cracker crust. Now, Paula, these cheesecakes are so simple to make. And do you know, I'd like to give you some credit because you're the one that started me on these cheesecakes. I remember one time I saw you doing your lemon cheesecake, and I'm like, this is it. It really helped me because I love cheesecake, and I did not want the stuff that cheesecake is made out of, and I wanted to do a better job. And so you got me started, and from here, I've now made my carrot cheesecakes, lemon cheesecakes, coconut cream cheesecake, key lime cheesecake, any kind of cheesecake, I've got it going on.
Well, you know what I was surprised about is when you said you were going to do a carob, because I've seen the chocolate cheesecakes, and I'm like you, I love cheesecakes, and especially those that look like the New York type cheesecake. And you said a carob. So those individuals that are trying to get away from that chocolate, which is really bad for you, then of course the carob is the way to go. And that looks just like a chocolate cheesecake.
It looks like a chocolate cheesecake.
But it's not.
It's
It's
not.
healthy.
It's healthy. And you know, when you put the chocolate in, it's just not a good product
No.
because of the way it's manufactured.
That's right. That's
And
right.
carob is much better. It's a good source of protein, and it's just wonderful. And it tastes like chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
So you
It
don't
does.
have to
It
give up
does.
the taste of chocolate. And what we're going to do, Paula, we're going to, let's see, I'll let you do that. And it doesn't matter which one, they're both raspberry.
Are they both? Okay, these are raspberry toppings.
Yeah, these are
Are we
raspberry
going
toppings.
to, what, put them on and then unlatch it? Or
I'll
what
hold it. I'll hold the jar here.
And I have a feeling that this is going to be
think that's too
Let
big?
me get something
Okay.
a little bit smaller.
All right. Now, the good part about this type of cheesecake, Paula, is you don't have to feel guilty about eating it because it's
Unless
low.
you eat the
in-
whole thing, huh?
Of course. But it's low in fat. And I want everybody to know that when you get these type of tofu that it takes to manufacture here or make this particular version, get the low fat. And it only has 1 gram of fat per serving. And that's excellent. You can't do any better than that. And this is so rich and creamy that it's going to have that texture that you're accustomed to.
Now, this is also the extra firm one, right?
Yes,
we're
that's the
using?
extra
Yeah,
firm.
That's the best way to
And the
go.
graham cracker crust is real simple. It's basically soy margarine and crushed graham crackers, and you don't have to heat it. You don't have to do anything to it. Just kind of melt the margarine and then smooth it around the size of your pan, and that's it.
So it's a no-bake
No bake,
cheesecake.
no bake cheesecake.
It kind of rhymes.
Yeah,
No-bake
no-bake
cheesecake.
cheesecake.
All right. So let's see. I think this
Okay.
is going to work out.
A little better.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how you do it. Just kind of swirl it around. What I normally do is
Okay.
bring a decorator's tip
Uh-huh.
and swirl it, but I left my decorator's tip at
Just
home,
get it all
so
the way out of there.
couldn't do that. I don't think we're going to need 2 jars, are we?
I don't think so. Oh, this is nice. And this is now, what's the, this is
is
an
all
actual
fruit.
all fruit gel.
All it
Okay.
is raspberries that have been crushed. And
It
that's
smells
all it
good.
is.
It smells good.
And we put the whole jar on the cheesecake.
Now this is going to be a nice combination, the raspberries and the carob together.
Yes, it is.
It certainly is pretty.
Now, if you want to get fancy with this, you can slice some almonds because it has almond flavor, and slice some white almonds, lay it around the top.
That'll be very pretty, very pretty.
You can do that. There's all kinds of ways to make it work. You can also swirl this in instead of layering it on the top. Well, it'll be a marbleized type cheesecake. And you know, while we're talking about sweets and everything, we have a graphic, if they want to show the graphic
I think that'd be a
on
good
sweet
idea.
alternatives, so
Okay.
people can see different examples of what we can use to sweeten our foods with. How about that?
Well, I think that'd be good. There
Look,
you go.
instead of oil, you can use applesauce. Instead of butter, you can use soy margarine, which we did today. Instead of sugar, you can use maple syrup, honey, or you can use fruit juice. Instead of milk, you can use soy or rice milk. And instead of eggs, you can use egg replacers, and you can also use tofu. We didn't talk about how to convert tofu into that egg texture.
That's right.
So these are wonderful sweet alternatives. They're available, and they're so easy to use, and they're right there at your grocery store. So all you have to do is go to the grocery store, pick them up, and say, I'm not bringing home that 5 pounds of sugar. I'm going to bring home my maple syrup, my honey, barley malt. Have you heard of barley malt?
Oh, yes. I like using
barley
that.
malt
I
is
like
real good.
that, yeah.
Sorghum is another one. Blackstrap molasses. I mean, it's endless, but we just got to try.
Okay.
What do you think about taking the...
I think we ought to chance it. I think they really need to see this cheesecake. What you think?
I think so.
Well, let's find that latch on the
Where's
side.
that latch
There's the
on the
latch.
side?
Okay.
Okay.
And we're going to just
We're going to ease
that.
it open. Let's
all the way
see.
back.
All the way back here.
All the way. There it is. It
Let's
released
see.
it.
We released it.
Okay. And then we lift straight up.
see
And
if
we
we
lift
got-
straight up.
Oh, maybe
Is it going to act up? Is it going to give us a hard time?
Just a little.
Okay. Let's just.
There we go.
go.
Isn't that nice?
All right. That is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
That's a wonderful cheesecake. So for all you chocolate lovers out there, we're going to convert you. Try this cheesecake. Remember, all of this is carrot powder added to the mix. Now, Paula, what do we have for our last recipe?
One last recipe.
One last
Are we going to do
recipe.
something special? I heard you were going to do an apple pie.
Yes.
Okay, let's take this away. then and bring
Okay,
the other one
we've
to
got
you.
our apple pie recipe. It consists of 4 to 6 large apples chopped, 1 can of frozen apple juice, 1 tablespoon of cardamom, or to taste, as much as you like, a thickener to consistency, and 2 pie crusts. Paula, today we're only using a 1 pie recipe here.
Okay, so we're going to just do an open, kind of an open pie. Okay.
But I wanted to put this out here with my apples. I think that looks very pretty. This is great for the fall. People love to cook over the holiday seasons, Thanksgiving and the like. And this apple pie, as I mentioned, is made just with apple juice. That's the only sweetener there outside of the natural apples. If you look at it, look at that color.
It's very pretty. And you left the skin on. I like
Left
that.
the skin on.
Very colorful.
Makes it very colorful and more healthy.
Yes, yes.
And sweeter also. You can use any type of apple. These happen to be the Red Delicious, and I like those. I like to make this also with the yellow Delicious apple. And what makes it thick and smooth is I added just a little bit of thickener to it.
Now, what kind of thickener did you put in
I
there?
did cornstarch, but you don't
Okay.
have to do cornstarch. You can do arrowroot or something else, or you can just sprinkle a little flour, whole wheat flour on it. It'll do the same thing.
Now, did you cook your apples first? How did you work that out?
What I did was I took the hot pan or the electric skillet, which
Okay.
I was using today, chopped the apples up firmly. I just kind of quartered them,
Sure.
sliced them out, and then put them in the pan with nothing in it. No water, no oils or anything. Just laid them in the pan and let them begin to soften.
Okay.
And once they got soft, I poured the can of apple juice over into it and let it kind of blend down. Then I put the cardamom, and then the last thing I did was to add the cornstarch. And I just kept pouring it in slowly. That's the trick with cornstarch.
Okay, that's
if you
right.
pour it in too quick, it'll taste pasty. So what you do is you add it very slowly and just stir and stir until it takes on the exact consistency that you want, and then you bake it in your oven for 250, and that's about it.
That's it? Well, that sounds pretty good to me.
It does.
All right.
Paula, I don't think we could have come up with any better recipes than what we did today. We hit some of the major ones that everybody
did.
seems to enjoy,
Yeah.
because I don't know where I would be without apple pie.
I don't think most people know what it'd be without apple
I know,
pie.
because, you know, a lot of people say it's the American, what is it, baseball, What's the thing?
Baseball, hot dogs, and apple pie.
Apple pie. It all goes together. But we're going to do tofu dogs instead of...
Yes, we're going to do the tofu dogs.
We're going to do tofu dogs.
And they're out there on the market, too.
And this is something that your grandmother would even be proud of. You know, and if you can cook well enough for your grandma, you got something going on.
I think
You really do.
Yeah, you got
It
that
is
one.
so special to come up with different type of desserts that are healthy and wholesome and don't require a lot of effort.
No.
You know, we were talking to Joe today. He was saying he saw a program that a lady put 9 cups of sugar in an apple pie.
That's a lot of sugar.
That's a lot of sugar.
That's a lot of sugar.
It's too much.
And there's so much natural sweetness in the apple itself.
That's right.
And that apple juice, that works out
That's
real well.
right. God made it that way. He made us to enjoy. And that's why the scripture I used at the beginning of the program, taste and see that the Lord is good.
One of my favorite scriptures.
Yes. So
I was thinking, too, you could probably put if you had a double pie crust, you could probably put that over top of that and
Yeah.
just close it in, huh?
You could. And I've seen people do it different ways. They get the cookie cutters with the leaves on it and just kind of layer it all the way across. Well, you know, Paula, I think some people might want to get a copy of some of these recipes, and you all have a fact sheet, a resource sheet.
There's a resource sheet at 3ABN. All you have to do is call 3ABN and tell them you saw the program, Food for Thought, with Linda and her assistant Paula, and that you want to get those recipes, and they'll be very glad to let you know how to get a hold of them.
And I think that's great. So if we could just maybe show that, show the resource sheet.
If you've enjoyed the recipes and cooking tips in this program, you'll want to order our Food for Thought resource sheet. We'll tell you how you can order the cookbooks you've seen used on this program, along with other information that will help you cook healthful, attractive vegetarian meals. For your free copy of our Food for Thought resource sheet, please write to us at Food for Thought, P.O. Box 220, West Frankfort, Illinois 62896, or call 618-627-4651.
We have some wonderful recipes today, don't we? Look at that. We've got our carrot cheesecake, which will help people who are trying to get away from chocolate and get to a more healthy alternative. We have our American apple pie,
American apple pie.
sugarless at that. Then we have our wonderful fruit salad and strawberry banana ice cream. Don't those look good?
They look wonderful. They look wonderful.
I am just so happy that God has given us the opportunity to use what he has created for our own personal good. He's not a God of denial, is
No.
he? He doesn't try to
No.
get us to get away from things that he knows we enjoy. He just wants to make life a whole lot better for us.
Well, I'd like to factor that cheesecake once again. That you made that carrot cheesecake on this program, and I
Yes.
think that's wonderful. And it's for those who had a sweet tooth and still want that carrot, that
Chocolate,
cheesecake,
yeah,
and they want the chocolate cheesecake, you know, that's a good way to go.
And you know, a lot of times you see cheesecakes and they have the chocolate shredded across the top of it, and they take the little knife and kind of scrape
That's
it.
right, that's
You can
right.
do that. You can get the carrot already in pieces and just sprinkle it right across there. So you don't lose out on anything.
You don't lose. You don't lose.
You don't lose.
And when you did this once again, your pie, you did not cook those apples to death.
No, sure
Okay.
did. I want you all to be blessed. I want you all to know that God wants you to enjoy his food. And so just try these out for yourself. Try other recipes. But it's a lot available for you. You don't have to miss out on all that you consider your delightful sweets. You can have them naturally. And I pray that God will bless you and keep you and increase your health.
What can be served over rice or a baked potato to make a nutritious meatless meal? Stay tuned for some interesting ideas. As My Lynn cut my hair at the beauty salon this week, we chatted about her homeland, Vietnam. Being the natural food enthusiast that I am, I wanted to hear it directly from a native resident for certain. The frustrating to me fact that the majority of Orientals, as well as most Americans and Europeans, eat entirely of white rice rather than natural brown rice. Of course, my next question to My Lynn was why? Why do you eat white rice rather than brown rice? I've asked many people this same question over the years, and the answers have been about the same as My Lynn's were. White rice cooks more quickly, she says. White rice tastes better. White rice is adequate nutritionally, since she combined meat with it. She did add, however, that vegetarians in her country use the brown rice for extra nutrition, since they do not use meat. Now, what do you think of these answers? Do you agree? Shall we challenge them? Let's try. Is white rice quicker to cook? I asked My Lynn how long she cooks her white rice, and she responded, 20 to 25 minutes. I cook our brown rice 45 minutes, twice as long. There are, however, quick cooking white and brown rices on the market today that cook in 5 to 15 minutes and cost more too. The shorter cooking time for white rice is true, but important nutrients are sacrificed. Second reason, white rice tastes better. And of course, I agree that flavor certainly is a matter of opinion and preference. But if you want to think about that for a minute, the flavor that she refers to is actually a lack of flavor, since white rice is the inner portion of the kernel, called the endosperm, and that the outer parts have been removed. Natural brown rice has a delightful, slightly nutty flavor. Once you get accustomed to it, the white rice seems flavorless and flat in comparison. The third reason, how do brown rice and white rice compare nutritionally? Does eating meat along with the white rice make it equivalent nutritionally to brown rice? If you take a look at this kernel of natural brown rice and analyze its distribution of nutrients, you'll find that each kernel consists of the outer bran layers, the inner portion called the endosperm, and the germ at one end of the kernel, just as a kernel of wheat. Most of the vitamins and minerals, the natural fiber, and the excellent quality protein are found in the bran layers and the germ. The inner part consists chiefly of starch and some protein and iron. Other B-complex vitamins and many minerals are lost in the processing to white rice. And meat has never been considered to be a high source of these nutrients or fiber. If we could only trust our loving Creator in His perfect wisdom and planning for our best good, the natural grains and fruits and vegetables do the best job of nourishing our bodies. He chose these to be our diet, as we have seen in Genesis 1:29 and Genesis 3:18. These foods prepared in a simple and natural manner are the most healthful and nourishing. As we continue to explore carbohydrate-based dishes for meatless dinner meals, brown rice is an excellent beginning. There are two commonly available kinds of brown rice, long grain brown rice and short grain brown rice. If you prefer a cooked rice that is sticky and starchy, use short grain rice. Long grain rice is the best choice when you want a rice dish that is flaky, where each kernel is loose and does not stick together. Brown rice is available in quick cooking form as well, cooks in about 10 minutes. But to save money, just purchase the old-fashioned brown rice at your favorite supermarket or natural food store. It's easy to cook. Use twice as much water as you do rice. So to cook brown rice in a heavy saucepan, you just bring 2 cups of water and 1/4 teaspoon of salt to a boil. You'll see that we have it on here and we're bringing the water to the boil. Then we'll add 1 cup of brown rice, cover it, and when it's boiling, turn the heat down to low. Cook 45 minutes without peeking or stirring. Extra flaky rice can be secured by placing the 1 cup of brown rice in a dry skillet to lightly brown it over medium-high So while the water here is coming to a boil, we are just tossing our rice, and it's beginning right now to be golden brown. You might even hear it crackle and pop a little. But when the water is boiling and your rice is golden, just put the 1 cup of rice right into the boiling water. And with this procedure, your rice will turn out flaky and fluffy every time. And this will cook in 45 minutes on low heat. There are countless ways to use brown rice for dinner. Think of what you might serve over brown rice for a quick, meatless, one-dish meal. My favorite is wok-cooked vegetables with a few toasted almonds or cashews over the top, or some cubed tofu. Almond vegetables mandarin is an easy one. Let's make that one. We're going to put a little oil, vegetable oil, about a tablespoon, into our fry pan and cook 1 cup of sliced carrots. Do this on the diagonal, somewhat oriental style, and 1 cup of green beans or snow peas for about 2 minutes, because they take just a little longer to cook. So we have these for about 1 to 2 minutes. And then we'll be adding 1 cup of thinly sliced cauliflower, a 1/2 cup of sliced green onions, and cook it 1 minute longer. We want to be sure our vegetables are not overcooked. Just cook them the Oriental quick cooking way. Okay, the next thing is to make a mixture of 1 cup of water, which we have here, and 2 teaspoons of chicken-style seasoning. This is a seasoning that has no chicken, but it gives you the flavor for meatless main dishes. And also we need to have a little bit of thickening for our recipe, and we have here 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. We want to dissolve this in the cold water so that it will not be lumpy. We'll stir this up, and this is going to be thickening for the recipe. We're going to add a pinch of garlic powder also. So we'll take our garlic powder and just put a tiny bit in there. And after our 1 minute is finished here, we'll add the liquid to the recipe. Then we're going to add a 1/2 cup of almonds. That adds protein along with the brown rice that we'll serve this over. And there's some interesting products at the Oriental food markets that are made out of wheat gluten that resemble meat. They call them a mock abalone or mock duck. And these are already seasoned and in a little sauce. And you can take these and add pieces to your wok-cooked vegetables, and they're also very delicious. They're good protein without meat. They're made from the protein of wheat, actually. A lot of Oriental peoples use these and are familiar with them, and I like them a lot for wok-cooked dishes that are quick for dinner. Okay, we just about have our mixture thick enough here, and we'll put in our almonds and be all finished. And we're going to show you now the finished product, how this looks over the rice. It's so colorful and beautiful. What I like to do is find main dishes that are easy and quick. And this will serve about 6 to 8 people. And we're going to do a next one of an Oriental rice dish. We'll put our beautiful almond vegetable mandarin right over there. And Oriental rice is another very delicious, easy to make recipe. I like to keep brown rice cooked in the refrigerator once I have what I need for my main dish, and then in the morning you can eat the rest of it for hot cereal for breakfast, or make some kind of a hash with it in the morning. So here we have 4 cups of cooked brown rice, and we've just been talking about cooking the brown rice, and we have our pot of rice over here cooking. What we're going to do here now is just add the ingredients all together. We have 3 tablespoons of margarine to give it a little smoothness and flavor. 1 small jar of pimentos, or if you have a garden, you might prefer red bell peppers chopped. This gives nice color to the recipe. 1/2 cup of chopped bell peppers. We have slivered almonds or pine nuts, and if you haven't tried pine nuts, they're excellent in this dish. We have a small can of sliced water chestnuts to make it oriental, and it adds crunch to the recipe. And we have a cup of chopped green onions. And for flavor, you can put in soy sauce. But use your own taste for the soy sauce. Anywhere from 2 to 4 tablespoons is nice for this dish. If you like it to be a little darker color, add more. We're using the light soy sauce, 50% less salt. It's a matter of taste, but I love this. It's easy. With the water chestnuts and the pine nuts combined with the rice, you have an excellent quality protein. And we'll put it in the casserole dish. This is actually cooked enough. All you need to do is bake it or heat it in a microwave. It takes about 30 minutes in a regular oven. And we've had lots of compliments on this one when we serve this for a company meal. It's very beautiful. And we'll show you the finished product after it's out of the oven. What would you serve with this for dinner? Well, this is doubles as your protein dish and as your carbohydrate dish. So I would steam some vegetables, broccoli or something to go with that, and a nice salad. You could have some whole grain bread and something to drink. And here we have the one that's been baked in the oven. We'll put that over here on our lineup of finished dishes for you. We want to just show you a lot of easy dishes because we're all busy people. We don't have a lot of time to spend in the kitchen. And there's a really nice sweet and sour tofu that's another recipe that it's nice over brown rice. So we're going to preheat our oven to 450 because we're going to use some tofu in our sweet and sour. And instead of just cubing the tofu and adding it to the vegetables, if you bake it in the oven for a little bit, it turns it crisper, and it's nice to put it in that way. So you take the tofu in the package like you buy it from the supermarket, slit it open as you've seen us do in the other classes, and you cut it into cubes and bake it at 450 for 30 minutes. And we've sprinkled it with a little bit of soy sauce, and here we have it all ready for this recipe. Now, to begin our sweet and sour, we're going to cut the vegetables into bite-sized pieces, which you can see are all ready for us here. We'll put the oil first. Let's put a little oil in the skillet. I'll get my stirring spoon here. Turn our electric fry pan on to about 350, which is medium. You can do this in an ordinary frying pan or in a wok, which is wonderful to use too. We're going to put our 1 large onion. Leave the chunks kind of large. You don't want these to be real finely chopped. 2 stalks of celery. You cut them on the diagonal so that they look nice. And 1 large bell pepper, either green or red. That red gives a lot of beautiful color, doesn't it? Ooh, I just love onions and bell peppers. It makes the whole kitchen smell like you have something good cooking for dinner. So it just takes a few minutes to get these, couple of minutes to get these crisp tender, and then we'll add the rest of the ingredients. We're going to use 1/4 of a cup of tomato sauce. Or you could just take a fresh tomato and whiz it up in the blender. Just want to get some kind of tomato flavor in here. And 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. Many sweet and sour recipes have a lot of sugar in them, and this is a lower sugar recipe, and you'll find that we're sweetening this naturally with some pineapple juice. So let's go ahead and add 1 cup of pineapple chunks, including the juice. Actually, that's 1 can, but it is about 1 cup or 1.5 cups. Add the whole thing. This gives the sweet with 1 tablespoon of brown sugar and the pineapple. Then we want to thicken this also, so we're adding 2 tablespoons of cornstarch that's been dissolved in 1/2 cup of water. So we're going to add our cornstarch to 1/2 cup of water, and we'll stir this up a little to dissolve it. And this is a favorite for us at our house. Anything that's Oriental is delicious over rice. So we'll turn our heat up a little more here to get this bubbling away. This will take just a few moments. We want to add a little tartness, so here we have 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Sweet and sour recipes generally use vinegar, but as you remember, we use lemon juice in our natural food cooking whenever a recipe calls for vinegar. And then a teaspoon of salt. And we leave the tomatoes to the last so they do not get overcooked. After the rest of the vegetables are pretty well crisp tender, add your tomatoes just a little before serving time so that they can get hot, but that's just about all they need. And just before you serve this for dinner over rice, you can add your cubed tofu. And you see the combination of the brown rice with the tofu gives you the complete protein. Now there are other products available in natural food stores that you might like to use instead of the tofu. I don't know if you've heard of the meat analog products, but there are different brands. This one is called Chipettes. And these you can fry and brown and bread in a little skillet, and these chunks are made out of the wheat gluten, and they are delicious. And you can put those with your wok-cooked vegetables also, and they give a complete protein with the rice. And do take time to browse cookbooks for other rice recipes. There's no end to ways rice can be used in main dishes for nourishing, meatless meals. The second half of our class today will feature potato-based meals. Every country has its potato dishes. There are many kinds of potatoes, including white, brown, red, purple, along with sweet potatoes. Potatoes can be boiled, baked, or fried. They can be eaten hot or cold. To bake a potato, use a conventional oven, a microwave oven, or the hot coals of your campfire. What can be served over a baked potato for dinner? Try these quick ideas. Served with a leafy green salad, the dinner is complete. First, we have sautéed fresh mushrooms in olive oil. Season it with garlic powder, add green peas or beans if desired. Or try soupy vegetable goulash mixture for baked potatoes. Slice zucchini and yellow summer squash and just steam it until it's tender with a combination of water and olive oil along with chopped onions, bell pepper, a large chopped tomato, and Italian herb seasoning, sweet basil and garlic salt to taste. Then we have creamed vegetables over baked potatoes. It's very nice. Cook 3 or 4 different fresh vegetables cut in pieces, or you could use a package of frozen mixed vegetables. Cook them in the microwave according to directions. You can prepare a low-fat white sauce. Now that recipe is given in our cookbook. And you just combine this with the hot mixed vegetables and serve it over baked potatoes. And here we have soupy, seasoned, cooked lentils, or use other beans. They're a good complement to baked potatoes also. There's a pot of lentils recipe in our cookbook that is an excellent one to put over the baked potato. The vegetarian chili beans over baked potatoes. There are several commercial chili beans available, or you can make your own homemade chili from our cookbook. And then we have low-fat cottage cheese over baked potatoes. You know, yams and sweet potatoes are excellent potato dishes too. And the orange-yellow color adds extra vitamin A as well. I love sweet potatoes. One advantage of these rice and potato meals is their low cholesterol content. What is cholesterol anyway? Why do we keep hearing so much about it? You know, cholesterol is a fatty substance manufactured by the body and present in foods of animal origin. Our bodies produce it because we need it. Cholesterol is an essential component of cell membranes, nerves, and brain cells. It's needed to produce certain hormones. The problem is that our bodies produce all the cholesterol we need. Then we go ahead and eat twice or 3 times as much cholesterol in our daily diet as is recommended, which gives such an excess that it clogs up our arteries. The American Heart Association recommends that we should eat no more than 300 milligrams cholesterol per day in our diet. Cholesterol is found only in foods of animal origin. You may be shocked to learn that 1 egg contains close to 250 milligrams cholesterol alone, which means your whole day's allotment in 1 egg. What about all the other animal products you eat during the course of the day? Let's take a look at what foods are high, medium, and low in cholesterol. This chart is in the cookbook. Now, if you're going to continue to use meat and animal products, you want to be careful to avoid the organ meats and shellfish. They're extremely high. Butter is on the high list, as is cream cheese. Egg yolk, of course, is also on the high list. The medium cholesterol foods include cheddar cheese and all the hard type cheeses, whipping cream, beef, veal, fish, lamb, pork, even ice cream, and sour cream. On the low cholesterol, we find the cottage cheese and the milk product. Milk, whole milk even, is considered low cholesterol. Egg whites have 0, and all of these other zeros are the plant foods: fruits, grains, nuts, and vegetables. Now, in my opinion, it would be better if you eliminated virtually all animal products from your diet. Of course, that's what vegetarian cooking is all about. In summary, let's add 2 more eating principles to our list. Principle of healthful eating 8 is to limit your use of high cholesterol foods: whole eggs, whole milk products, cheddar and cream type cheeses, and meat products. Number 9 is to limit your use of eggs to 2 or 3 per week, including what you use in cooking, but no egg yolk at all if your blood cholesterol is above average. Eggs are the highest single source of cholesterol in the American diet. Dinner meals based around rice or potatoes are easy to prepare, full of good fuel and nutrients, and combined with complementary foods yield excellent quality proteins. Heavenly Father, how generous you are to give variety, vivid colors, diversity of flavors and textures. Help us to enjoy them just as they come from your hand, and not loaded up with high-fat sauces and cream. Thank you for the health principles that, if followed, will help prevent heart attacks, cancer, and other lifestyle diseases. Please take control of our appetites. Amen.
If you are interested in receiving recipes you have seen in this program, they are available in a new cookbook by Marcella Lynch called Cooking by the Book. This book is filled with healthful, nourishing meal ideas that are nutritious, delicious, and easy to make. These low-fat, low-cholesterol dishes will help your family get a balanced diet that promotes better health. For information on how you can get Cooking by the Book, write to 1325 Isabel Avenue, Mountain View, California, 94040.
In fact, the odds of getting this condition is not good. Millions are destined to get it. Our program today is entitled Alzheimer's Disease, Part 1. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome to Abundant Living, and this is my beautiful bride, Paula Akins. How you doing today, honey?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Oh, that's great. Good to see you there. And that's a nice blouse, by the way. Is that new?
No.
Okay, you had it for quite some time.
Yes, I had.
Okay, just checking.
Now, we're talking today about Alzheimer's.
Yes.
And of course, I guess people are saying, is it Alzheimer's or Alzheimer's?
Okay, well, let's set the record straight. Today is going to be Alzheimer's. And next week, this is part 1. Now, next week is going to be also Alzheimer's. But now, if you prefer Alzheimer's, then you can say that as well. But we're going to use Alzheimer's in today's and next week's program.
Well, I guess we want to, why don't we first of all define the term Alzheimer's disease? What exactly is it?
Okay. Alzheimer's disease is basically a progression, deterioration of the brain mental function. It affects the neurons or brain cells, nerve cells there. It also affects the axis where the nerves interlock with one another, so that transmission of nerve impulses is interfered. So that's why you have several problems in that area. It can be mild or it can also be severe, just depending on the type, the severity of the Alzheimer's disease and how long the person has had it and diagnosis and that kind of thing. So it's a very progressive disease of mental function.
So I guess we're going to talk about the fact that it can be progressive. It can start at any time in a person's life, I guess.
Well, yeah, we're getting down to the statistics. Usually starts around age of 65 years of age. But again, as we grow older, of course, it can be more progressively worse as we grow older with age.
Well, and I don't want to get into the stats, but I just want to look at, because I mean, there's times when I lose my keys, I can't find them. I'm going somewhere, I run down the steps, and then I get down to the bottom of the steps and I can't figure out what I was supposed to be doing, so I run back up the steps, and somehow, right in the middle of the step, halfway up, I remember exactly what I was supposed to be doing, so that's the reason why I just kind of threw it out at first, asking that question.
Okay, well, in that sense, now, if that's true, then about 95% of us have Alzheimer's disease. But Alzheimer's disease is not when you forget where you place your car keys.
Okay.
Alzheimer's disease is where you forget what car keys are used for.
I see.
So there's a difference there. There's a severe mental malfunctioning as far as reasoning and that kind of thing. So it's not just forgetting things, but it's more severe than that.
Well, my daughter always says to me, I'm just too busy. I guess that's the reason why I forget things. But let's talk about then the symptoms of how does a person know that they've contracted Alzheimer's disease?
Okay. Now, of course, an autopsy is the most way of determining whether or not a person has Alzheimer's disease. Now, of course, you have to have brain tissue and looking under a microscope. Well, that's best done when a person has passed. So when a person is alive, a doctor will say you will have probable Alzheimer's disease, about 85, 90%. It's not conclusive. But the question is, how can it be diagnosed? Okay, or the symptoms.
The symptoms.
Okay, the symptoms.
Yes.
Okay, the symptoms, well, first of all, sometimes it's first deals with depression, psychosis, because we're dealing with their frontal lobe. So if that's the case, then you have depression and psychosis. Sometimes it deals with the physical outbursts, memory, a lack of visual perception, because it deals with also the hippocampus area as well. So it just depends on where it deals with depending on what symptoms a person may have. Now, again, you have outbursts, you have emotional outbursts, physical outbursts, speech, lack of recall, memory. This is short-term memory, not so much long-term memory. So there's different symptoms that a person does have with Alzheimer's disease.
So short-term meaning something that you might forget, or someone says something to you at that moment and you forget it.
Yes.
Rather than something I might know or someone might know from the past.
Right. Yeah. Most people who have Alzheimer's disease will remember things 10 and 20 years ago, but not 10 and 20 minutes ago, because the memory is not there, because that malfunction of the neurons. That nerve impulse simply is not being transmitted to the next neuron in the brain.
Now, you made this comment about outbursts. You know, there's a lot of people who have outbursts continuously, so what do you mean by the outburst? Is this like something that the person might be in a normacy where they're always okay, and then all of a sudden they act out? Or?
Yeah, as far as the voice and also as far as the physical nature is concerned. We'll get more into that part 2 next week. We're going to go right into the brain. We're going to look at 2 of the major hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease by autopsy. But for this week only, physical symptoms are basically outbursts, and we'll go more into that next week. We'll go into the brain and see how that works out.
So how is it diagnosed?
Well, like I said before, autopsy is the most way of confirming an Alzheimer's disease patient. But again, there are several tests that a doctor will take, and sometimes it's based on eliminating other probable symptoms that mimics Alzheimer's disease, such as they will rule out stroke.
Okay.
They will rule out deficiency of B12, because that deals with central nervous system. They will rule out brain tumors or, cancer in the brain, and thyroid problems. They will rule out depression. So what's left is usually, that gives some of the symptoms, is Alzheimer's disease. There are also some tests that a doctor will administer to a person, such as a person who has Alzheimer's disease cannot draw a clock and put the numbers inside the clock, because again, the visual perception. So they can't do that. Counting backwards from 100 by 7. Okay, they have a difficult time doing that. Some people have a difficult time doing that already, but anyway. And counting the word world backwards, all right? They can't really have a problem doing that as well. And if you put maybe a piece of string and a coin in a person's hand, they can't tell which one is the string and which one is the coin. Again, that visual perception. This is the brain dealing with the frontal lobe or the hippocampus, dealing with memory and visual perception. So they have a hard time getting off the exit or the interstate, reading signs. So these are some of the things that are hallmarks as far as diagnosing an Alzheimer's disease patient. Again, this is about 90%. Because it cannot be conclusive until an autopsy is done, taking some brain tissue, and then look at those brain cells. But until the person does that or passes on, then they can tell with a certain degree of certainty that a person has Alzheimer's disease.
So there's a battery of tests, then, what you're saying.
Exactly.
And I guess a person, I'm just thinking to myself, what would make me think to even go to a doctor? I mean, is there any kind of pain or anything that goes along with that, or just? No,
see, there's no pain. That's where the person's, the family members,
all right,
when they start noticing some changes, as I just mentioned, okay. Outbursts, depression, they're not themselves. This is a change of personality. So the person is not themselves. So therefore, the family member usually the first one that will detect something's going on with my husband, mother, or whatever the case may be. Because the person doesn't know it, but the family member may pick up on it first because it's not of their normal habitat. And that's where a doctor needs to go in and check out. And like I said before, they would need to eliminate certain things because certain conditions can also mimic Alzheimer's disease. So to rule out stroke and depression, thyroid, and deficiency in B12.
What would be the causes then of it?
Well, let's go with the stats first, and then we'll go with the causes. Okay, the stats. Now, the stats are not good, folks. About maybe 65 to 75 years of age, about 3% of people have Alzheimer's disease. So it starts around 65 years of age. Okay. Now, from 75 to 85, it jumps up to about 20%. Now, folks, over 85 years of age, it can be up to 1/2 of people have Alzheimer's disease.
1/2?
Over 85 years of age, from 1/3 to 1/2. So, and that's not good. Now again, every 7 seconds, someone turns 50, which means that those individuals' parents are now in the 70s.
Right.
That's why, and people are living longer, so of course now, right now, there's about 4 million people have Alzheimer's. At that rate, and people are growing older, by 50 years, it would be quadruple, 14 million. Now, hopefully by that time, we'll be in the New Jerusalem. But as the rate goes according to plan, it's not looking good at all. And so, and then once a person has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease, they have about 8 to 20 years of life left. They usually die within 8 to 20 years. So again, 100,000 people, no, 1,000 people are diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease every single day. 1,000 people.
And so
and the numbers are not getting any better.
So unless the family actually recognizes a difference or a change in their parent or grandparent or whoever's in the household, then basically, and then see to go have a test done. So this is kind of one of those, what do I always use that word, not known or invisible kind of things that can happen. As far as, since there is no symptoms.
Well, at first, it grows progressively worse.
All right.
So you'll notice a change in a person's character and personality, remembering things, and how to turn on the oven, how to turn on the microwave, how to brush their teeth, comb their hair. These changes would be first marked, or just not being able to memorize or remember something that just spoken to them, let's say 10 minutes ago. You would cite to them a paragraph, okay, and then ask them to recite as much as they can remember things in that paragraph. A person who has Alzheimer's disease cannot do that, or do it at a very low state of far as reciting whatever you said in that paragraph.
So what would be the causes then?
Okay. The causes of Alzheimer's, now, of course, that can be a program within itself, and it's not conclusive as far as aluminum is concerned, so let's just set that to rest. It is true, though, those who have Alzheimer's disease, once the autopsy is done, there's a high amount of aluminum in the brain, but they're not sure whether or not aluminum caused the Alzheimer's, or because the person has Alzheimer's, that it will retain the aluminum. So it's not conclusive. But there's one common thread that Alzheimer's disease patients do have, and when they do the autopsy, or those who are even alive, they will have a high degree of homocysteines. That will be in their blood. This is conclusive across the board. And you can just do a Medline research, just type in Alzheimer's, type in homocysteines. You'll get an array of clinical studies in medical journals about homocysteines in the blood. Now, there are two ways of increasing homocysteines in our bloodstream. Number one is what we eat. There's an essential amino acid called methionine. Now, this comes from animal products and comes from plant-based products. Animal products have a high degree of methionine. Once we take in these foods, methionine converts into homocysteines. Now, the foods that are high in methionine is chicken, cheese, particularly Swiss and Parmesan. Milk has twice as much as methionine than soy milk. So again, these foods, when going into the system, convert into homocysteines, and this is a trademark of all Alzheimer's disease patients. And then, of course, you have high homocysteines level. Another way of having high homocysteines level is, of course, not eating enough of the folate foods. So it's not so much what you eat, but what you're not eating as well. Again, the folate foods will bring down homocysteines. And of course, we get those in dark leafy green vegetables and also legumes. So, and of course, cigarette smoke, caffeine, and alcohol will also increase your homocysteine level. So again, there's some other medical journals that I can cite that those who do eat chicken or flesh foods have a high degree rate of or risk of having Alzheimer's disease. Now, just to isolate one clinical study to confirm this, the Boston University School of Medicine, they did a clinical study on 1,098 healthy elderly individuals. They tracked them for 8 years. At the end of 8 years, 111, about 10%, had Alzheimer's disease. They discovered that in those 111, they had a high degree of homocysteines. And this was even recorded in the most prestigious medical journal in the United States, the New England Journal of Medicine, February 2002. But all medical journals will say the same thing, basically high rate of homocysteine levels in the bloodstream. So that's one thing that we can do to cut down on the fresh foods. Again, the chicken and fish, which has a lot of the methionine, which converts into homocysteine once we eat them, and also the dairy and the cheeses as well. I think we have a graphic. Let's go with a summary of how we can also avoid Alzheimer's disease at this time. All right, avoiding Alzheimer's disease. We didn't talk about this, but mental gymnastics. There's been some research in the science medical journal called Neurology, where those individuals who did, let's say, more crossword puzzles, reading, studying, used their brains more actively, had a lower rate of Alzheimer's disease as opposed to those who did not do anything or watched maybe more television, all right? Number two, a plant-based diet, and we mentioned about that, getting rid of the fresh foods and also the dairy products too. Thereby you get that methionine, but it's not as high as the animal products. And then number three, the increase of antioxidants. We're going to talk about more about that particular one on the next week's program about antioxidants, how antioxidants will reduce the rate of free radicals in the brain, because free radicals are also prevalent in those who have Alzheimer's disease.
Well, we've talked a lot on the plant-based diet and all that. That's going to be things that we're going to be constantly saying over and over again.
That's
because,
right.
of course, here on Abundant Living, we talk often about the plant-based diet and how important it is because it's actually designed by the Creator, God Himself.
True.
All right?
That's right.
And now my next question is going to be about the caretaker, because with all this going on with that individual, that senior individual in the home, what kind of stress, or does it put a stress on a caretaker?
Yes, it does. And right before this program, I called the Alzheimer's Association in Huntsville, Alabama. And I asked her the same question. I said, what is the main concern for the caretaker? Because remember, folks, 70% of people who have Alzheimer's disease are being taken care of in the home, 70%. So I asked her, what is the number one concern for caretakers? She said, is loneliness and isolation. And you can, assume that that would be the case because they're dealing with the person one-on-one. This is 24-hour care, all right? If they've been diagnosed, and they can do brain scans to the brain activity, whatever. And so isolation. So we suggest that a person who's caretaking this Alzheimer's disease patient to go with a support group. And let's go to our last graphic and let's highlight this. There are some benefits of support group at this time. Number one, you will discover available resources. I called her, I didn't know this, but she said there are many Alzheimer's associations across this country. They actually have funds and scholarships for people who can come in and sit with that person for 4 hours so that caretaker can take care of their personal needs here and there when they need to. So it's very good for that. Learn coping skills, sharing information, how to cope with different individuals. And we have what we call the sundown syndrome, where in the late afternoon is very trying for those who are caretaking the Alzheimer's disease patient. Number three, also achieving emotional wellness. Caretakers, they go through depression, fatigue, and emotional upsets because they may have feelings of guilt and anxiety. So again, support groups are very efficacious for those, particularly with Alzheimer's disease patients, dealing with those. How to write out a living will, a power of attorney. These things need to be in place because you never know that you will need these when the person really gets progressively worse. So that's one great thing that all support groups can give.
Well, I know we're not finished with this subject, so we're going to, this is pretty heavy. We're going to continue this program talking more about Alzheimer's and what's going on with the individual and the caretaker. And I know you're trying to figure out, are we going to cook on this program? And the answer is yes. And of course, you talked about plant-based foods. So today you want to get your paper and your pencil. You want to ring somebody on the phone and knock on someone's door, let them know that Abundant Living is on, and we're going into the kitchen to make a salad bread bowl with all the fixings. So stay by.
Would you like to learn more about preparing healthful vegetarian dishes? If so, then you want to be sure to order our free Abundant Living resource sheet. It contains useful information about products and cookbooks. It will help you to learn more about this natural way of cooking. Along with your order, we would also like to include a free copy of the booklet, The Natural Way to Keep in Shape. This 20-page booklet is filled with tips that will help you to develop a total lifestyle approach to health. To receive both the Abundant Living Resource Sheet and The Natural Way to Keep in Shape, call us at 800-752-3226 during regular business hours. Call and ask for this special offer today.
Well, we want to welcome you back, and we're going to be doing a salad bread bowl. So we're going to go to the ingredients on this one.
Okay.
It calls for 1 teaspoon of dry yeast, quick rise, and 1/2 cup of water, lukewarm, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1/2 teaspoon of honey, 1 cup of whole wheat flour, 1/4 cup of unbleached flour with germ, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, and 2 cups of spring salad mix, and your favorite salad dressing. Well, we are busy working right here in this part of trying to get this dough ready so you can see how we do it. Curtis is rolling out his dough and I'm rolling out mine, and all we're doing is making it large enough to go over top of a bowl. And you're making one salad and I'm making one.
I need some flour on my roller. Rolling pin. Baby,
you want to make it large enough to go over top of a bowl. You know, this is going to be a bowl that you can put in the oven. We want to have our oven preheated at 475 degrees also.
Okay.
And at this point, how's yours looking?
I don't know. Should be a little bit bigger or what?
Yeah, it's got to be bigger because I got to go over that bowl.
Okay.
Okay.
Salad bowl. Now this is this can be a 1 meal.
This is a 1 meal, yeah, and they're going to see that. Let me just tell you right away that what happened was we took that flour, we had the unbleached flour and the whole wheat flour, we put that together, we had our water with the yeast and water and honey and our onion and garlic powder. We put all that together and made a ball out of it, and we actually put it over there on the side, let it sit for about 5 minutes. And I'm going to show you this now because yours is just about ready, Curtis.
Okay.
You know, you need to have a baking custard type bowl that you can put in the oven. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take a little bit of the olive oil because you need something in your hand to be able to work with this. Just a little bit of olive oil, and you're going to actually use the olive oil. And Curtis, you might want to go ahead and start that. You're going to actually put the olive oil on the bowl.
On the bowl, in my hand.
On your hand, and then put it on the bowl.
Okay.
Okay. And we're going to get the bowl nice and oiled because we got to get that crust off of it, or that salad bowl off of it when we get done. And then all we're going to do is we have that pan over there. And you can bring that pan here, Curtis, and put it right there in the middle of us so they can see what's going on here. And I usually sit my bowl. I'm going to sit mine here. Let's do it sideways so they can get a chance to see both of them, okay?
Okay.
We're going to sit it down, and we're going to pick up that dough, and we're going to lay it across the bowl. And we're going to pull it around the sides. Make sure. Let's see if you can get that.
Hope it don't stick. Okay.
Okay. We're going to pull it around the sides of our bowl. And it's going to be some real good fixing that's going to go inside of this. And usually what I do, Curtis, I push this up so we make kind of a decoration around the edge of it. You want to make sure it's secure around the bowl. Okay. Remember now, it has yeast in it. So you want to make sure that there's no loose ends on it. How about that? That looks good, Curtis.
Okay,
now,
thank you very
sometimes I just do little scallops around the edge by just taking,
putting
your hand in there.
Oh, I didn't know what the word
and making a little decoration in the middle.
You call this a scallop, huh?
Yeah. Okay. And then what's going to happen is it's going to go in the oven and bake. And we bake it for about 5 minutes at 475 degrees. And then when it's finished, you're going to see what the product looks like. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our break because when we come back, you will see the finished product. So stay by.
Would you like to learn more about preparing healthful vegetarian dishes? If so, then you want to be sure to order our free Abundant Living Resource Sheet. It contains useful information about products and cookbooks. It will help you to learn more about this natural way of cooking. Along with your order, we would also like to include a free copy of the booklet, The Natural Way to Keep in Shape. This 20-page booklet is filled with tips that will help you to develop a total lifestyle approach to health. To receive both the Abundant Living Resource Sheet and The Natural Way to Keep in Shape, call us at 800-752-3226 during regular business hours. Call and ask for this special offer today.
well, we want to welcome you back.
Okay.
And we've made our salad bowls. We actually cooked it in the oven at 475 degrees for about 5 minutes. It got brown on the outside. Want to bring it out and cool it off, and then it comes right out of that custard dish real easily.
Okay.
And then what we've done is we've added in our spring salad.
Spring
which
salad.
has
Now, what we have all the veggies or what?
We've got salad vegetables in there with the bitters and
Some green peppers.
red radishes are in there, cabbage and all kind of stuff. We got tomatoes.
Now, honey, I see some chicken here. Now, of course, this is a vegetarian program, 3ABN, so what's with the chicken?
Well, this is not chicken at all, believe it or not. This is just actually tofu.
No, so I might have known.
So you know it's tofu.
This is tofu.
So it's just tofu. And also, of course, I said I had a surprise for Curtis, and I didn't want him to know what it was.
Because this salad is really not complete.
The reason why I didn't finish it really is because of the special thing I have in here under my dish, which I really didn't want him to see at all.
Oh, the olives. Now we have a salad.
If I had have shown him these, they would never have been on the end of the show. So
let me help you.
We're going to put some olives on this salad as well. You can put a couple of olives on, Curtis.
Why don't you just give me the can and you take this?
No, I don't have the can with me.
What happened to the can?
I destroyed it.
Destroyed it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, why did you do that? Okay. You know, this would probably look better with black olives too, huh?
It probably would.
Yeah. Do you have some black ones too?
No, I don't. Go ahead and just put those on there.
Okay.
And
the rest of these are mine?
No, you want to put them on the salad so they can see how it looks. And you could do
that's
the
what
black olives. You can do also the green olives as well to give a little bit more aesthetics to the salad itself.
Now, you have one more olive than I have, so we'll take this over here.
Now, you know, it's very, very funny because guess what? Not too long ago, some friends of ours came to visit with us, and they were out in California. And they came by, and you're not going to believe this, they brought us a case of green olives.
A case, a whole case.
And mainly because they said they were thinking about Curtis and how much he loves olives, and you all know how much Curtis loves olives. Everywhere we go, we have cooking classes, people bring Curtis a can of olives as a gift, and we use them in the class, okay?
We sure do.
We don't want him to eat the whole thing on his own. Now, on top of this we've also added any kind of favorite salad dressing you might have. We have quite a few of them in our books as well, that you will drizzle then on top of your salad.
Now, what's this you have
here? This is just one of my favorite dressings that I actually use on this one, and it's going to be drizzled on top.
Just drizzle.
And you want to remember that you can actually eat the entire thing, the whole salad.
So now you can eat the salad and also the container of the dough too.
That's right, eat the dough and
crust and everything.
Yep. How about putting a couple spoons on yours?
Now you want me to just drizzle or just pour?
Yes, go ahead and drizzle some across there.
Okay.
All right, and not all of it. And it's going to soak down, but because of the fact that we had that bread bowl, it's not going to soak through the bread, by the way, okay?
Because it's pretty thick, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, I know that because we're coming toward the end of this program, that I know what you're going to do. You're going to ask me a question. So you know what? I already got him taken care of, okay? And that is that I made him his own little salad bowl that we can go out of the show.
Okay, wait a minute. We got a problem because this one is smaller.
It's smaller because we're going out on the show, and I don't want them to actually, we don't want to destroy the big ones yet, okay?
So this is mine.
That's ours.
Okay.
All right. Well, you know.
Now,
we want to make sure that you stay by because there's a part 2 to this program, and so you don't want to, want to tell your friends and then to tune back in again.
Remember, next week is going to be Alzheimer's disease part 2. We're going to talk about herbal medicine and think that we can really reverse Alzheimer's disease. It's going to be very powerful. So, as always, Jesus said, John 10:10, I come, that they might have life and have it more abundantly.
Hi, I'm Marcella Lynch. Welcome to Lesson 10 of Cooking by the Book. Light and lovely is the key to evening eating. In pleasant surroundings, in a relaxed frame of mind, is the ideal way to end the day. Eat like a king for breakfast, like a prince for lunch, and like a poor pauper for supper. This is the wisdom of the ages for longevity and health. Most people are used to eating their largest meal in the evening, But heavy evening meals should be avoided. Supper should be the lightest meal of the day, including easily digested foods like fruits and grains, which contain very little fat. And for several hours before going to bed, it is best not to eat any food at all. Most persons who give the plan a trial will find that 2 meals a day are better than 3, said Ellen G. White in explaining healthful eating principle number 11. Do not overeat, as it is the worst of all offenses. Do not eat to the point of discomfort. Eat the quantity of food which will keep your weight within the desirable range for your height and body build. And healthful eating principle number 12 tells us when not to eat. As the pressures and stresses of the day wear on, we would do well to remember that if overtired or under stress, rest a while before eating in order for your food to be properly digested. If nervous, stressful, or hurried, it is best not to eat at that time. Many busy people say there is no time to eat a hearty breakfast and noon meal. Some are convinced they don't have time to sit down to a real meal. They snack and pick throughout the day and then fill up when evening comes. This plan is not ideal. You are always living on the edge of hunger. You may become preoccupied with thoughts of food and may develop a food addiction or compulsive eating. Food eaten later in the day is not digested and metabolized as quickly. Overweight may creep up. Cooking by the book includes eating 2 full meals a day with an optional light third meal. This plan is better for the digestive system and body processes. The stomach needs periods of rest, for digestion is real work. A fruit salad with bread is one example of a light and lovely supper. A bowl of vegetable soup is another. Fruits and vegetables are among the easiest and quickest foods to digest due to their high water content, high fiber, and low fat consistency. Grain products such as breads and cereals are next. Your light supper is not a bedtime snack nor a midnight snack. It should be eaten several hours before bedtime so that your stomach can rest and refresh during the night. Again, let's review our daily menu planner for our light supper pattern. Soup suppers are a favorite wintertime meal. With a bowl of soup, meal planning becomes simple and whole grain toast, bread or crackers, and supper's ready. How does a vegetarian get flavor into a pot of soup without the ham or chicken bone? Let's take a look at Marcella's hearty vegetable soup. The problem I have with vegetable soup is writing down the recipe. I do it differently every time, using the vegetables that are in the house and in season. Making a vegetable stock ahead of time by cooking scraps of vegetables, their peelings, leaves from celery and so forth, gives you a flavorful soup broth in which to add vegetables. However, most busy people have none made up. So here is a hearty soup that requires no stock. Combine 2 quarts of water, 4 tablespoons of light colored broth powder. I'd like to show you a few of the vegetarian type broth powders. We have the chicken style seasoning, which we've mentioned earlier. There's George Washington seasoning and other broth powders like Dr. Bronner's that you may look for in the natural food stores. Then you need 4 to 6 vegetarian bouillon cubes. You can find these at supermarkets or natural food stores. They're just the little bouillon cubes. 1/2 cup of whole pearl barley just out of our mixing center cupboard, or any other grain. Remember, when you combine grains with vegetables and legumes, these mixtures make good protein. So put a little barley in the soup. 2 to 3 carrots, 1 large potato, 1 large onion, 1/2 cup sliced celery, 1/2 cup diced turnip or rutabaga, a can of garbanzos, kidneys, or other beans. And then for the seasonings, 3 large bay leaves, 1/4 of a teaspoon each of dill weed, thyme, sweet basil, marjoram, and garlic powder. Now, it's these herbs that give you lots of good flavor for the vegetable soup, so be sure to add a little of a number of different herbs, and salt to taste. And add more water as needed. Then you're just going to bring it to a boil, lower the heat and simmer it until the barley and vegetables are tender. Add some chopped greens, like spinach we have here, collard greens, mustard greens, whichever, and chop them up a little just at the end, and a couple of large chopped tomatoes, 2 cups of green beans or peas, and 1 fresh zucchini. These vegetables cook more quickly, and it's nice to add them at the end. So just continue simmering until all is tender, and do not overcook, or the vegetables will lose their nice pretty color. And we can remove the bay leaves before serving. Any other vegetables can be added too. For a lighter meal, the garbanzo beans can be left out. Now, for people in a hurry, there's a quick cream of vegetable soup recipe that I like to do. So no excuses for not eating vegetables. Just cook 1.5 to 2 pound package of frozen mixed or stew pack vegetables in your microwave according to the package directions. And then while the vegetables are cooking, you make a low-fat, medium white sauce. My recipe is in the cookbook. I use low-fat milk or the tofu milk when making my white sauce. Then you just take the vegetables out of the microwave and combine them with the cream sauce, put it in your bowl, and you have cream of vegetable soup. Serve with whole grain toast or crackers for a quick winter supper. When I was a girl, Mother made her own whole wheat crackers to eat with homemade soups or to take in our school lunch boxes. This is one of my favorite memories of home cooking. There is no commercial cracker that compares. I've even called these whole wheat crackers survival sticks. Along with a piece of fruit, they make a complete quickie meal for on the run. And here they are, Mom's whole wheat sticks. Combine 1 1/4 cups whole wheat bread flour, 3 tablespoons brown sugar or date sugar, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1/2 cup finely chopped nuts, 3 1/2 teaspoons of vegetable oil, and 5 tablespoons of any kind of milk. To make a stiff dough, knead on a lightly floured board 2 to 3 minutes. Roll out on a lightly floured board to a uniform thickness of 1/4 inch. An 8-inch by 12-inch rectangle will do it. Cut into strips 1 inch by 3 inch. Bake on an ungreased cookie sheet at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 35 to 40 minutes. Turn over once when half done, and this yields 20 to 25 delicious whole wheat sticks. And adding nuts to the whole wheat sticks makes a complete protein with all the essential amino acids present. These whole wheat sticks grow on you. Chew them thoroughly. The slow baking brings out the nutty sweet flavor. They are crunchy and yummy. With the soup, light salad or fruit, and a glass of milk, the meal is complete. Another popular soup that hits the spot for supper is potato soup. Potatoes are inexpensive and wholesome. I prefer making this soup with low-fat tofu milk. It provides a creamy, smooth consistency, does not curdle, and tastes delicious. Place 4 1/2 cups of the tofu milk in a large, heavy saucepan and slowly heat it as you prepare the vegetables. If using dairy milk, keep the heat low and stir occasionally during cooking to prevent sticking to the bottom of the pan. Prepare 4 cups of cubed, peeled potatoes, 1 cup thinly sliced celery, 1/2 cup chopped carrots, 1/2 cup chopped onion, 2 tablespoons of snipped parsley or 1 tablespoon dry. Add to the milk in the saucepan. I use a food processor. Then you can add 1 1/2 tablespoons of the chicken-style seasoning and 1 1/2 teaspoons salt and a dash of dill weed for flavor. Just cover and simmer until the vegetables are tender, about 15 to 20 minutes. Then to thicken the soup, place 3 to 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour and 2 tablespoons of melted margarine in a small bowl, and gradually add another half cup of milk, stirring until smooth and no lumps remain. Just stir that into the soup and cook it slowly until thickened. Thin the soup a little with water if it's too thick. It's a delicious, nutritious, and satisfying dish. Serve along with whole wheat bread, muffins, or crackers. For a heartier soup supper, try legumes as the main ingredient. Here's my favorite lentil soup, and it is easy to make. Remember that lentils are a legume and a good source of protein. We're going to cook 1 cup of lentils, which remember we have up in our cupboard. One to 2 teaspoons salt, 1/8 teaspoon thyme, and 1/8 teaspoon oregano in 5 cups of water slowly in a covered pan for 15 minutes. Then add 1 chopped onion or 3 chopped green onions, 1 grated carrot, 1/4 cup minced parsley, and 2 tablespoons oil. Add 1 or 2 chopped tomatoes or a small can of whole tomatoes. Cook all the ingredients together for 45 minutes on low heat or until the lentils are tender. You have a delicious lentil soup. A few years ago, when visiting my brother and family at his mountain log cabin hideaway in northern Idaho, we were treated to old-fashioned corn pones made from freshly ground cornmeal and baked in a wood stove. What a treat to accompany hearty homemade soup. Talk about eating like a king. The log cabin was rustic. It had no indoor bathroom facilities and no telephone. Clothing hooks and cupboard doorknobs were carved from elk antlers found after the winter's melting snows. There is something wonderful about the taste and texture of breads baked with wood heat. The difference is noticeable. These old-fashioned corn pones can be baked in authentic cast iron corn pone pans or muffin tins, or even dropped by spoonfuls onto an oiled baking sheet in an oblong shapes or mounds and baked in a conventional electric oven. You can preheat this cast iron corn pone or muffin pan in the oven. Combine 2 cups of low-fat dairy or soy milk or water, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 2 tablespoons vegetable oil, 2 tablespoons sesame seeds, ground in a blender or a seed grinder, 1/2 cup of soy flour, and 1/4 cup of fine shredded coconut, 1 1/2 to 2 cups of cornmeal, and beat it well with an electric mixer. Adjust the cornmeal to make a soft batter. Sprinkle a little cornmeal in the bottom of the pan for each muffin and spoon the batter into the hot pan. Bake immediately at 400 degrees for 35 minutes. This bread will actually rise about 1/4 of an inch without any leavening agent because of the steam from the product. Flavor is especially good if you use freshly ground corn. During the summertime, fruit plates will replace soups for your light supper meals. Eating whole fresh fruits out of hand on the back patio with homemade bread and a spread is sufficient. The water-laden fruit fills you up without many calories. Fruits, especially their skins, add fiber to our diet. We do not advise adding whipped cream dressings to fruit salads, as cream is pure fat. Enjoy the succulent taste and texture of the fresh fruits alone. Try arranging slices of fresh fruits on a lettuce-lined plate. Use different colors together for beauty. Try slices of kiwi with a cluster of fresh red grapes, or a wedge of melon and sliced pineapple. You may like to add a couple whole dates or a sprinkle of shredded coconut over the top. A sprig of fresh mint is a fragrant garnish. A supper menu of whole grain bread and fruit or vegetable is an excellent addition of fiber for your diet. Now for a change of pace. Fruit soup instead of vegetable soup. When I was a child growing up in the country of Oregon, my mother used to take us children out to pick wild blackberries, and then we would dry some for the winter time, as well as drying other fruits out in the sun. And in the winter time, she would make the dried fruit soup, thickened, and we would eat that over toast, warm, or in a bowl. and I have fond memories of that. And I've done the same thing for my family. It's a nice meal for us, a light supper. So let's make it here. You take 1 quart of any kind of fruit juice. We're using a mixture of boysenberries juice with apple and cranberry. But apple juice is nice, or pineapple juice. 1 quart of juice, preferably unsweetened, in a saucepan to cook. For the thickening, we're using minute tapioca, 1/4 cup. Cornstarch could be used also. Then you just add a variety of dried fruits, or a combination of dried fruits and canned fruits. What I would like to put in today is 1 cup of dried prunes, pitted of course, 1/4 cup raisins,